This video is brought to you by viewers like you. Consider supporting us on Patreon.
Yeah, I was born here, raised here, up to high school. I was in Japan.
USA, Japan, perfect, perfect, perfect. You win.
Hey Andy, thanks for letting me interview you today.
Hey Sam, of course. Let's do this.
Yeah. Okay. Well, hi everybody. You can't see me, but I'm here. And anyway, we're gonna interview Andy. He's one of the guys that has been living at the guest house for as long as I've been living here. And yeah. Anyway, he's an interesting guy with an interesting story, and he is one of the few people I've met who is a foreigner of Western persuasion that has grown up in Japan. And today we're going to interview him and ask him some questions about that. So, okay, and I have my notes right here too. Okay, so, and do us a favor, guys. If you like this series, make sure to write it down in the comments, because there's plenty of different people here from all over the world that have a story to tell. True. And, I don't know, I like sharing that story with you guys. So write it down in the comments if you want to see more like this. Anyway, Andy, you ready to get into it?
Sure, let's do it.
Okay. So first off, Andy, like, what do you have? Like an online handle? Do you have any social media, or do you have another name besides just Andy?
I don't have too much online. I have like an Instagram that I'm posting some pictures on. It's Rintraw Roars. Can you put that in the description, maybe?
Yep.
Yeah. Okay. Yeah. It's just like photos from my last cycling trip in Europe.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay, cool. I'll make sure to put that in the description later. So, Andy, how old are you?
33.
33. Oh, so we're the same age.
Ooh.
Ooh. But who gets laid more? Probably Andy. Definitely Andy. Andy gets all the hot sex. So, Andy, biggest question. Where are you from?
Good one. Good one. I have like multiple answers for that. Like if I'm just seeing someone, like when I was traveling, I might just say America. But I guess these days I say I'm from Japan, but I'm an American citizen.
Okay.
That kind of sums it up nicely.
Okay, so you say that most of the time?
Yeah, I mean, if you ask in English, where are you from, then that answer makes the most sense, yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
So you usually say that then? Okay.
Yeah, at least in English. In Japanese, they might have a different question, like, they might say, Okuni wa doko desu ka?
Yeah.
Which means, like, which is your country?
Yeah.
But they might say, Shushin wa doko desu ka? Which means, like, where are you born?
Uh-huh.
So then, I could say Japan. I could say I was actually born in Japan.
So you were born and raised in Japan?
Yes, I was born in Chiba, raised in Nagano. Yeah.
Okay, so everybody here knows you as like, well, I mean, okay, because like I've met some people like Takashi, you know, Black Takashi. The Black Takashi, that's how I differentiate. We got two Takashis in here. You gotta, what am I gonna say, the not Black Takashi? Anyway, Black Takashi, he was born here too, but he was raised in the States. But you've been here your whole life.
Yeah, I was born here, raised here, up to high school. I was in Japan. Then I was in the U.S. for like a couple of years in university. Okay. And I came back here again. And so yeah, I've been living in Japan most of my life.
Wow. So, question. Okay, another big question. So, can you use chopsticks?
Yes. Yes. No problem.
God, do you still get questions like that? No,
I never get that question. I hear people get asked that question, but no. But you know what's funny? In elementary school, like, of course we eat with chopsticks, right? Yeah. School lunch. But like I didn't use it the right way.
Oh, really?
Until like after elementary school, like in middle school. But I think even in elementary school, a lot of Japanese kids use it the wrong way. Like,
well, what's so like? Tell us some of your. Oh wait, so since you grew up in Japan, it's like, you know, so じゃあ普通に日本語喋るよね。
日本語は普通に話す。
日本語上手ですね。
Ah, どうもどうも。You know, sometimes I met like a Japanese person in Thailand recently, and I heard she was Japanese, so I approached her and like started talking to her in English, and then I was like, oh, I was actually born in Japan, and then started talking to her in Japanese, and her reaction was like, you're more Japanese than Japanese people.
What do you think she meant by that?
I think she meant like my mannerisms and like probably because she didn't expect it at all, but like since I'm born and raised in Japan, my sensibilities are pretty Japanese. Like socially, I'm pretty Japanese.
Well, okay, so it's like, okay, why don't you, while I'm moving this camera a little bit, why don't you tell us about, okay, this fucking tripod,
It's cool. It's flexible.
Yep, unlike my moral values. So what? Tell us about your hobbies, Andy, before we get into really deep questions. Like, what do you do for fun?
I do Tai Chi. I've been doing that for like 8 years. I do some yoga. I play guitar. Yep.
No, okay, that's cool. Well, this is, we'll learn more about you through the interview, but why don't we start off with some questions about your early childhood background. So, so your parents are both American, right?
Yeah.
So why did they choose? Like, did they choose? Like, are you the oldest kid in your family? Or?
Yeah.
So why did they choose to move to Japan? When they moved to Japan, like, were they only planning on being here for a couple of years, or was it like kind of a long-term thing they thought?
Good question. I actually don't know. They were both going to like a Bible school in Oregon, and they heard some speaker talk about Japan, and so they decided to be missionaries in Japan. So they went. At first, they were with like a group for like a year or so, but eventually they just started doing it independent. They went to Nagano in this village and started a church. Yeah, I never even thought about that. Like how long they were actually thinking of being in Japan, and now they've been there for more than 30 years, and I don't know. It seems like they don't have any plans to go back. They're pretty comfortable here.
Well, why? Well, I mean, were they interested in Asia? You think at all? Like before they met that Japanese person, or like they just kind of came here on a fly and then just like fell in love with the place?
Well, actually, my dad was living in Japan as a kid for a little bit. My grandpa and grandma on his side were missionaries as well.
Oh, okay.
But that was like after the war, and like the situation was totally different. Like I heard they would just kind of go out someplace and then pitch a tent or something and then advertise that they're having an event. And then just like tons of people would come to see the foreigners.
Oh, wow.
Yeah.
That's awesome.
Yeah.
Look at the foreigners. Oh, look at him. He can walk. Oh, he thinks he's people. Well, I mean, like, you know, your parents, like, so they came here originally because they were missionaries.
Yeah. Yeah.
And you said they set up a church. Did they actually, like, rent a building, or did they, like, build their own church?
So they moved to Nagano, and at first they were working with a different church that already existed there. And then my dad and some of his friends actually built a house in this, pretty much a village. And so it's like this wooden house that really stands out from the rest of all the other buildings around. And they painted it like really bright green. Not bright green, dark green, I guess, but it stood out. And then on that property, they also built another building. So the church was basically handmade.
Wow, that's cool. And it's still standing today?
Yeah, the building's still there. They're renting it out. They're not doing the church there anymore.
Yeah.
A different pastor took over, and now they have a different building.
What do you think? Was their family at all like against them moving to Japan? Do you think, like, when they moved over here? Like, my friend's Mormon, and his after his mission, he decided to quit the church and stay in Japan. And his family and his family knew that he liked Japan, though, so they were really against him coming over here for his Mormon mission. They were like, send him to Africa or something. If he goes to Japan, he'll stay. And they were right. He stayed. He quit the church and he stayed here. So
Yeah. He quit the church?
yeah, he quit the church. Like after, because you're the missionary. What is it, like the missionary thing for the guys is only like supposed to be a year or two, and they bring you over here with like a friend buddy system so you don't falter. But both of those guys ended up just being like marrying Japanese chicks and being like, "Fuck this! Like I don't even get to drink Mountain Dew. This religion sucks." But I mean, your parents' family, you never heard if they were against that or anything?
I don't think they were against it because both sides are pretty religious, and like if you say you're going to do missionary work, that's a pretty good thing. So,
Okay. How is your parents' Japanese? Like, is like, you know, futsu ni hanaseru?
Yeah, they can speak Japanese. They sound like foreigners, of course, but especially my dad, he speaks pretty good Japanese.
Can they read and write it too, or just speaking and hearing?
Somewhat. They can read some, write some.
When you say that, like they do church, though, do they do the church in English or Japanese? Like the sermons or
It
whatever.
was Japanese. Yeah, in Nagano, it was all in Japanese.
Okay. Wow, that's pretty cool. That they like, you know, that's a whole other level if they're doing it in Japanese.
Yeah, you have to because everyone's Japanese there. There's like a few other like missionary families around.
Yeah.
Like if you went like 30 minutes by car, there are other families doing different things, and so it's kind of like a missionary network.
That's kind of cool, though. You guys have, like, my friend, the first podcast I did, like, I have a podcast where I interview one foreigner from every prefecture in Japan.
Okay.
And the first prefecture I did was in Fukuoka with this lady named Anne Cristini, and she's not, like, a missionary. She came here with her husband on jet or whatever, but, like, you know, they settled in here. She's from, like, West Virginia. She's, like, pretty hardcore Christian, not hardcore, but like she likes church life, you know. So she found a church in Fukuoka that she goes to regularly. But I think I don't remember if it's off the top of my head, but like it looked like from the videos I saw that she's not the pastor, but the pastor didn't speak that much Japanese, so she kind of took over for him. And I don't know. It looks like her and her husband are like in charge of giving a lot of sermons or something. It's really cool, but. Okay, well, like, let's ask, your parents still like it here, obviously.
Yeah, they're pretty comfortable here.
How old are your parents now?
My dad is 63. My mom is around 55-ish.
Okay, and what's, okay, so, like, let's talk about... Oh, wait, so do you have any brothers or sisters?
Yeah, I have 2 younger brothers and 1 younger sister. And they're all in Japan right now.
All of them are still in Japan right now?
Yeah. The one below me, Tyler, he lives not too far from here.
Your brother lives in Tokyo?
Yeah, yeah.
Oh, what is he doing right now?
He is living in a share house. He does like translation work, which I also do. He does all kinds of stuff. He was doing Bitcoin. He's like, he can do math. He was doing online poker. He was making some money doing online poker actually. And he like programmed the software that he sells to people. So that's Tyler. Then the youngest brother is Brady, and he's married to a Costa Rican. And they're living in Costa Rica until recently, but they moved over here like a few months ago. And then Christy, my sister, is she has a mental handicap.
Yeah.
Like a genetic thing. So, but she's gone to Japanese school all this time, and she speaks pretty good Japanese. And she works at this place where like other disabled kids, not kids, but like
Adults.
Disabled adults, yeah.
Sounds worse
Yeah.
when you say disabled adults for some reason versus kids. Like they
They're
grow
kinda
up.
like kids in a way, yeah.
Does she still live in Nagano?
No, she lives with my parents, who are in Tokyo now, actually.
Oh, okay.
Yeah,
Uh,
like an hour away.
wow. So all of your siblings still like live in Japan.
Yeah, they do.
That's so cool. I don't know. That's it's funny because I have this guy who I always call my black dad. Well, my other black dad. But his name's Ralph on YouTube. He's GS350JPN. He named his YouTube channel after his car. But he has a bunch of videos. Like, I do my videos on motorcycles.
Mm-hmm.
Well, he does his videos while he's driving his car. And he just does a bunch of rambles and stuff. But his story's funny, though, because he came over here because he met a Japanese woman.
Mm-hmm.
But then his brother came to visit. And his brother ended up marrying that Japanese woman's sister. So two brothers married two sisters here. And now his brother only lives like an hour away from him. And he's got like kids and stuff. And it's just completely like... That's so weird.
That's trippy.
Isn't that like your aunt is literally your aunt? Like she's not just... That's so... I don't know. That's funny.
Yeah.
Yeah, I don't know. That's just... I always thought that like if people grew up here and they're in like... They have their family life or whatever, that they like the kids eventually kind of grow out of Japan or move out or something.
Yeah, some people. Yeah, because some of the other missionary families were more like that. Some of the kids are more like America oriented. I guess from like me and my brother, who also went to elementary school, we were pretty Japan oriented. Like we would speak the Japanese to each other.
Oh,
I
really?
think that kind of annoyed our parents. Like even at house, we'd speak Japanese to each other.
Anne's daughters, she said, because her husband's American too, and she says her kids do that, and she doesn't like her. She doesn't like it at all. She tried to do the only English at the house rules, but half the time it works. It's just so weird seeing these completely not Japanese kids being like, "What? Fuck you, mom! I'm gonna speak my. You're the one who made us live here. Like you get with the times." It's
they go to Japanese elementary school. Yeah.
They went to they go to Japanese high school and stuff. Like
really?
they're all elementary school to high school right now.
Okay.
Yeah, so they're very. Well, I mean, I think that's why like the church life is so important for her because they get the exposure to other foreigners that speak English.
Right. I see. That makes sense.
So wait, but you only went to school till the end of elementary school in Japan, right?
Yeah, I only went up to 6th grade in Japan.
Why was it only 6th grade? Why didn't your parents send you to like high school?
Yeah, they could have sent me to Japanese middle school, which is what all the other Japanese kids did, of course. But I think, for one thing, they felt it's kind of too strict.
No, really?
Like, some of the kids would come home at like 7 or later. They'd have tons of homework and like they'd be really absorbed in the like kurabu or bukatsu. Is it bukatsu in Chigaku?
Yeah, the club life, that basketball or
basketball and it's the same sport all year.
Yeah.
I think that was one thing, and they probably also wanted me to have some like English education, because all elementary school was Japanese, and for me to learn to read English, I had to kind of go through like a workbook with my mom as a kid, and then she'd encourage me to read a lot. So to play video games, I had to read. Like in order to, I think I had like an hour a week I could play. If I wanted to play more than that, I'd have to read.
Oh.
If I read an hour, I could add 30 minutes.
Wow, that's kind of that's kind of a good system though when you think about it.
Yeah, you could argue it was a good system.
So they wanted you to have like more English education, and they thought the Japanese school would have you like kind of just basically just absorbed in academic stuff, pretty much.
Yeah, and maybe they also wanted some more Christian education rather than secular. Maybe.
Well, did you guys do a lot of Christian studying too, though, after that, or was that like not much?
Christian studying? No, not really.
Like Bible study or something?
Not really. Maybe some basic stuff, but...
Okay, well, I got some questions for you for when you went to Japanese school. Wait, so, like, I learned Japanese with the intention that I need to have at least 10,000 plus hours of not just study but like immersion. So it's like 10,000 plus hours of listening and like just basically being in a Japanese environment. That's what it seems to be like the school of thought around all these academics and just I don't know, linguistics is that like you need to have at least a mass immersion in like some language in order to not just learn it but like get used to it. And I'm guessing as an elementary schooler going to school every day, you pretty much got way over that 10,000 hour.
Yeah,
limit.
I mean, even before elementary school, I could speak pretty good Japanese just from like playing with kids in the neighborhood. That's pretty much how I learned. But like, yeah, in preschool also.
Oh yeah,
But
you
I
went to
could-
preschool and kindergarten probably in
Yeah.
Japanese too, right?
Yeah. But I couldn't read any Japanese when I went to elementary school. So
How did that work? You have to like stay after school and study or something, or
actually no, because they teach all the hiragana in elementary school. But
Oh.
all the other kids had already learned from their parents or something.
That's so funny. That's one thing I never understood about Japanese public school. It's like the parents will like bust their ass to get their kid like way over prepped for elementary school, and then like the stuff is just too easy. Like, you know, I was like, you guys already know this, and it's like they're basically just like, it feels that they want their kids to have as much of an easy life before they hit the books really hardcore in middle school maybe. I don't know, that was my impression of it. But
Yeah, they do have to prep for middle school.
well, how was school life? Do you have like, you know, did you make a lot of friends? Were you the only white boy in the school, I'm guessing?
Yeah, definitely. Me and like my brother, 3 years younger than me. We were the only foreigners, pretty much, as far as I knew. There might have been some Koreans or something, but I don't know.
Was this in like the countryside, or was it in like the city? Like not gonna.
No, this was like, it was countryside, and we had to walk to school an hour every day.
An hour to walk to school?
Yeah, actually, first, second, third grade, it's a little shorter because there's a bus. But after that, they make you walk.
I just
Hour
love
to
how you're
school.
just like, there. Yeah, after that they make you walk. Shit. Is it to build character?
I don't know. I mean, they do a lot of things.
Oh,
You could, build character because, like, as you probably know, Soji.
yeah, the
kids have to
soldier, the
clean
school cleaner.
every day after lunch.
Oh, I hated that.
You hate it? Wait.
Because I was an ALT for like 5,
Okay.
7 years or something, so it's
Yeah.
like, I always, you know, they're like, Sam-sensei, you know, yarimashou, and I'm like, dude, like, fuck off, like, come on. You know?
Was that in high school?
No, that was, no, because here, I taught at elementary school, middle school, and high school.
Okay.
In high school, they never made me clean. In middle school and elementary school, I had to clean.
Hmm.
And I always had to fucking clean, and I just hated it, because I'm like, God damn it, like, you know, make the kids do it, like, come on, like,
Isn't that the point?
yeah, I know, right? Well, well, you know, it's shogunai, right? But,
Yeah.
so at school, though, like, were you, you know, you always, I don't know if you've been on YouTube, but it seems like people are always trying to push the negative, what do you call it, like the negative topic of like, I was a foreigner in Japan, I was bullied, but like, you seem like a well-rounded motherfucker, so like, were you ever bullied, or like, was anyone like overly mean to you, like, ever?
No, I was never bullied in elementary school.
How did the adults and like teachers treat you? Like, did they treat you kind of like you're just a normal kid because I guess you spoke such fluent Japanese, or were they always kind of a little bit offish or whatever? Or?
I would say, like, I didn't feel any different really when I was growing up. So, I think they're pretty much treating me the same.
Did you ever feel weird being the only white kid around a bunch of kids that don't look like you though?
No, I didn't feel self-conscious about that. Maybe until like around 5th grade. Then maybe I started to feel something, okay, a little different. Or people were maybe treating me a little different or something. I don't know. But
Whoa.
like, for the most part, I felt really normal.
Well, like,
actually.
oh, sorry, I don't mean to keep cutting you off. Well, I meant like, okay, like you obviously had Japanese friends growing up. Like, if you, like, was there any like when like you make a friend and you go over to their house and like maybe the dad didn't hear that you're a foreigner? He's like, whoa, white kid at my house. What's going on here? Like, well, I'm guessing that you got like a couple stares when you were growing up. Like, you seem like it probably didn't matter that much to you. You know, did it?
As a kid, I don't really remember the stares, except maybe like when we went to a different school or something.
Yeah.
and then kids would say something or notice me. But yeah, I didn't really. I guess because I was just part of the group, you know.
Yeah, right.
I was there since first grade to sixth grade in the same school.
Yeah.
I mean, there was other kids who came in midway. But yeah, I felt pretty normal.
Since everyone was cool with you, like they were, you know, like you didn't have any bumps, too many bumps in the road. Well, what?
No.
Okay, well, why don't you tell me about how was middle school and high school for you in Japan? Because you went to were you just homeschooled from that point, or?
Yeah, after sixth grade, I was homeschooled for 3 years in Nagano.
Okay.
And then I moved to Tokyo for 3 years to go to international school.
Oh, so you went to international high school?
Yeah, in Tokyo.
Did you ever, when you were homeschooled though, did you ever really miss your friends? Like, were you ever angry at your parents for taking you out of school?
Yeah, I did miss my friends. Yeah, I think at one point, at first I didn't really think too much about it, and I'm pretty introverted, so I was kind of okay. But at some point, I think I really missed my friends, and I remember at one point I wrote them all letters, and sent it to all their houses.
Oh man, did they respond?
It was funny because I put the wrong postage amount, so. But in Japan, they actually do deliver. Actually, I don't think I had a return address. So they delivered it and then told them to pay the extra 10 yen or 20 yen or whatever.
Oh, no. Oh, God.
Yeah, so it became a thing in the whole area.
Oh, that's cute, though. That's I miss my friends. Because I know that some of my friends that got homeschooled or whatever, they got in big fights with their parents afterwards.
Oh, really?
Yeah, they're like, I hate you, why did you take me out of the school, kind of thing.
Yeah.
I had two friends that were Mormon that they got put into homeschooling in middle school and then the other one in high school, and they just hated their parents for it. But they I don't know. It's always weird to, I don't know, that's a situation that not a lot of people have to deal with where they're just taken out of school.
Yeah. If you're in the U.S., at least you have some other kids that are doing homeschool probably.
Yeah.
And for me, there were other missionary families that were doing it.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, but I wasn't too close to them, so I had a really good friend in elementary school.
Yeah.
Called Duosuke, and I would still see him from time to time. He actually dropped out from school for a year, so we hung out a lot then.
Well, yeah, we got to hang out as soon as he dropped out. It was great. Got to hang out every day.
Yeah, but with all the other kids, all my other friends, it just became more and more distant, and they were more into the middle school culture, and so yeah, it's pretty different in middle school from elementary school because the senpai kohai thing kicks in.
Yeah.
In elementary school, it doesn't really exist.
Mm-hmm.
But in middle school, anyone who's above you have to show a lot of respect towards, and if you're in the bukatsu club,
yep,
and if it's your first year, you don't get to play at all. You just pick up the balls.
I don't remember that. Is that true? Fuck. Well, that sucks.
That's what I hear.
Yeah. Well, I don't. I think they changed it recently.
Oh, yeah,
I think too many parents probably complained about it to the school.
Yeah. You hear stuff on the news sometimes, they're trying to reform things.
It's so, I don't know. Well, sometimes it's good. Sometimes it's not. It's a little overboard, I think.
Yeah, of course.
Well, do you? So how was high school though? In Tokyo.
Yeah, high school was great.
What high school did you go to?
CAJ Christian Academy in Japan, in Higashikurume.
That's not Tokyo. that's like Saitama. Higashikurume. I thought you said Tokyo. Guys, for all you know,
technically Tokyo.
For all of you guys who don't know, Higashikurume is far northwest Tokyo. It's on the border pretty much of the other prefectures. On the border,
literally.
It's Tokyo with rice fields, guys. It's still technically Tokyo, but with fucking rice fields. It's a really nice area though. They developed it recently a lot more. Okay, how was high school though? Were you how many people were in your high school probably?
There's a few hundred, maybe 300, but it was actually from K to 12.
Okay.
So, and it was a lot of other Christian missionary kids, going there, but also Japanese people, random people, Europeans, Asian. It was fairly big.
Okay.
We played sports with the other big international schools. Yeah, but it was really good for me because a lot of the kids there were like similar to me. Like some of them were missionary kids that went to Japanese school and then transitioning to English. Like there are a lot of people who spoke both English and Japanese, so that was pretty cool.
Okay, so
Yeah, more relatable in a way.
well, it sounds like when you were like until the end of elementary school, like Japanese was more of a main language for you than English.
Yeah, it kind of was, yeah. Especially like socially. But after that, my education switched over to English, so I feel like intellectually I'm more English oriented, but like socially I'm more Japanese oriented in terms of the language.
Well, what I guess I'm going through my list right here of questions to ask you. So, do you ever feel like you missed out though, not going to regular Japanese school, like middle school and high school?
Kind of, yeah. I would have probably turned out a little different.
Just a little. Well, I was just curious because it's like since you were surrounded by so much English after elementary school, like, did you ever feel like you were losing your Japanese ability at all? Like you were kind of forgetting it or whatever?
No, not really.
Okay.
Yeah, because I read manga or speak to someone in Japanese all the time.
Yeah, I was curious.
Play Japanese video games.
Well, you don't learn that much kanji in elementary school. How did you learn kanji?
You learn a lot of kanji though.
Well, you don't
Especially
learn
like
all of
third
it.
grade and fourth grade, you learn like hundreds of kanji.
Well, for like what is it? But like people, like students learn kanji until like middle school, pretty much.
Yeah,
The
I
end of
guess
middle
so.
school, right?
Yeah, and I was never really that good at kanji, but I did study kanji Japanese in high school, like
Okay.
advanced Japanese. Those are mostly kanji.
And do you think manga is a good way to learn or at least keep up your Japanese ability?
Yeah, sure. Yeah, I think so.
Yeah,
Definitely.
guys, I
Anime,
found.
whatever.
Oh, so, sorry, I keep cutting you off. Do you like? Why don't you tell us about that project you told me you worked on?
Project?
The manga project.
Manga project?
The
Which
fan
one?
the fan translation you did.
Oh, that one. I think like when I was in college, I did some scanlation project
Yeah.
for JoJo's Bizarre Adventure Part 7. It was just like one volume that I was involved. Yeah, that was fun. Translated a JoJo volume into English.
That's so
Yeah.
like you liked doing that. Like you liked translating, like doing like fan translations or what do you call it? Fan subs, scanlations.
So, I can't remember if I did that many subs. Probably not too many. But yeah, that was interesting.
I remember just being in high school and like college. My life was like fan subs. I would just download stuff from like Kiss Anime and like oh my god, what like Nyan torrents or whatever. I remember like as soon as I remember like every week when a new Naruto or Bleach would come out, I would be able to download it within 24 hours just because
Yeah, that's crazy.
people translated them so quickly.
Yeah.
Oh, the memories. So you weren't okay. So you did keep studying Japanese, and you kept still like making Japan, even though you were kind of like a little bit in your gaijin bubble. You were still like fully, pretty much in Japan, like
You talking about high school?
well, like middle school, high school.
Middle school, high school? Yeah, I was in Japan.
Well, I meant like not just like at home speaking English, then going to church and speaking English. Like you still had Japanese friends that you interacted with. You still
Yeah.
because there's like these gaijin communities where it's just like all they do is speak English, and then all their friends are English speakers, and then
Yeah.
like they use Amazon Japan in English or whatever,
Yeah.
Wait, so okay, well, I mean, so where else would you like hang out or interact with Japanese people when you were still in middle school though, when you were being homeschooled?
Actually, in middle school, I didn't have that many friends. I was pretty isolated.
Oh no!
Yeah, like just my main friend. Yeah, other than that, I would go to this planetarium? No, like a telescope.
Yeah.
Our village had like a telescope for some reason, like a really expensive telescope. And they would have like weekend events, like let's look at Saturn's rings or something.
It's like
that one.
It's like that Majora's Mask. The first town that you go to has a giant telescope in it. Whenever I think of just giant telescopes, I think of that for some reason.
Is that a game?
Zelda, the
Oh,
N64 Zelda. See, you were isolated. Oh no. So, do you ever feel like special or unique for living in Japan?
Well, people tell me I'm special, or like Japanese people say they're jealous because I speak English and Japanese. So like, in as much as people keep saying that, I feel special, but like it seems like recently it's becoming more normal. Especially in Tokyo, people are like, oh, another foreigner that speaks Japanese, whatever.
Yeah.
It used to be more, they were surprised or whatever. And another interesting thing is like sometimes recently, if I tell a Japanese person I was, like they say where are you from, and then I say I was born in Japan, they're like, oh, shittere shimashita, like sorry for treating you like a foreigner. Oh, you're Japanese like us. I mean, they say that, they don't really think it probably, but like some of them are kind of, it's like a transition maybe.
Like, it's like, oh, like, is this guy cool? Yeah, man, don't worry, he's cool. Oh, okay, you're cool. We had to make sure you were cool, dude. Yeah, no, it's just because, like, I was such a big, you know the word weeboo, right?
Yeah.
Yeah. The guy, I love it how you literally, in a way, like, not 100%, but in a way, like, you were living the weeboo lifestyle. Like, I remember since middle school, I've wanted to live in Japan, and, like, I remember even when I was in high school, like, or middle school, I was like, Mom, like, you know, you have, like, an advanced degree from Harvard. Like, let's go over to, like, Asia. Let's just move there and stuff. And she's like, fuck that. I don't give a fuck about Asia. I'm like, but, Mom, I'd love to. I don't know. Now I'm really happy because I don't think I could handle Japanese high school. It's just too rigid and boring.
It'd be
and just,
crazy.
Oh, God. But, no, it's funny because, like, I've met other people like you that have grown up here that are Westerner, but, like, most of them were missionaries or children of missionaries, or like the rare thing where it's like, oh, well, both of my parents were foreigners and they found each other here and they didn't want to leave, kind of thing. But I don't know. So like you said, like mostly Japanese people, once they figure out that you actually grew up here, like you didn't just move over here. You were born and grew up here. They're pretty chill about that. What about foreigners? I bet like most of the foreigners are kind of like me, where it's like, whoa, you grew up in Japan? Holy shit. Can you use chopsticks?
You mean like foreigners in Japan?
Yeah, like foreigners who meet you or when you were in
they
Europe.
Say, I'm jealous that you speak Japanese.
Oh, it's just
a lot of
the
people say
same
they're
thing.
jealous. Yeah. Oh, you got to be in Japan. That's so cool.
Okay, well, here's another question. Have you ever dated Japanese women?
In high school, yes. But she wasn't really like Japanese. She was kind of more Americanized Japanese.
Okay.
So, I haven't really dated a Japanese girl.
Do you want to?
Yeah, I'm more open to it now. I think before maybe I was more like, I don't want to get too sucked into the Japan thing. Or like Japanese, the rigidity of the Japanese society and expectations.
Yeah.
But like now I'm kind of more like accepting that I'm going to probably be here for the rest of my life. So like, yeah, why not?
Fuck it, you know, whatever. Yeah, I was just, yeah, it's funny, like, I have other questions lined up, but I wanted to, I guess, like, now that we're on that topic, though, it's like, so why, yeah, like, being in Japan and just, like, you seem, I think, like, you're very, like, meeting you is a very interesting thing, because it's like, you can see some people that just, either they didn't have, like, a good family unit, or just something where, like, they grew up and they grew up in Japan and they seem either like very timid or like they're very conscious about everything going on around them, and they're like maybe negative or bitter. And I'm not talking about people that I've met. I'm talking about like these people on the internet who have been interviewed that are like, for example, like BuzzFeed did this interview with this French girl or this Japanese girl who grew up in France versus this American girl who grew up in Japan. And the American girl was like, she seemed nice, but she seemed like, oh, like, I don't know, I felt sorry for her the whole time. Like, she was talking about how, like she went all the way through college, from yochie or kindergarten all the way to college, and like her mannerisms are very Japanese, and the way she spoke Japanese, it's like you could put some AI green screen filter or like scan like Japanese person on top of her, and you'd be like, oh yeah, she passes the spy test pretty well. But you know, like one of the things she complained about though is she really hated it how wherever she went, immediately people thought that, because she works in Tokyo, so everyone thought she was a tourist. And, you know, and that her English is fine, I guess. I can't remember if she spoke English during it, but, like, she grew up mostly around English, or just Japanese speakers. Like, Japanese was mostly her life. So, when she tries to rent an apartment or something, it's so hard for her. Like, she's like a normal company worker, like, maybe, like, Dentsu or something, like very Japanese-y company, but whenever she wants to rent an apartment, normally for a normal Japanese person that would be no problem whatsoever, but because she's a foreigner, it doesn't matter if she spoke Japanese fluently or she grew up here or she went to the school, like people, when it comes down to really serious things, she still has big hurdles to go over. Like, you and I are older than that girl, because I think she was like 22, but like you and I are both also like men who kind of accept the nomadic lifestyle, and we're living in a house that our rooms are boxes, and but like you and I seem pretty content in the whole kind of like, I don't know, minimalistic lifestyle.
Yeah. So is that girl is French, you said?
No. The Japanese girl grew up in France.
Okay.
She was interviewing, because it was for BuzzFeed, where they interview people that grew up in different cultures. So
is it American?
It was an American girl who grew up in Japan.
Okay. Yeah, maybe she has like, or she probably has even less of an American identity then. So she probably doesn't have any non-Japanese thing to fall back on. Because I feel like I can pass as American. I am American because I only have a U.S. passport.
Yeah.
And so I kind of have an American identity, like not culturally, but like if I have to go somewhere, I could always go to the U.S. and like sometimes I go through the airport and they're like, "Welcome home." I'm like, oh, that feels nice. Never get that in Japan. So it's like, this is my home, but like I don't expect people to like think that I'm Japanese or anything. And I guess I don't think of myself as Japanese because like I see other people don't see me as Japanese. So like,
do you think you would have had the same mindset as that girl though if you had gone through all the schooling like she did? Like maybe if she had, like, because I don't think her parents were Christian. I think they were just normal, like workers or something. Yeah,
maybe I would be more like that. I don't know. And there's like other people who are maybe half Japanese, but they only speak Japanese. They don't speak any English, maybe.
Yeah, or maybe
there are people like that.
Maybe their father ran away, mother maybe.
Yeah, and they're a Japanese citizen, and they're only Japanese. And then people don't treat them as Japanese, so like that would be a different experience for sure. That would be more frustrating. But for me, I'm like, you know, I don't expect people to treat me as Japanese. But I feel like generally, once they see I speak fluent Japanese, they basically treat me as Japanese. And like maybe I do play like if I have to, like, hey, I'm a foreigner, so I don't know what's going on, kind of thing.
You are wearing an American T-shirt.
Come on.
Or you're wearing an American flag T-shirt now. Yes. I just realized you're doing the America Jinfuri. Have you ever been stopped by like the cops or anything, asking for your Gaiko Gujin Toro Shomeshi?
Oh yeah, all the time, especially like when I was younger. It doesn't happen too much now.
Younger as in like 20s or teens or what?
Like teens and like early 20s. I would ride my bike around a lot, and I also had like a pretty big beard at one point.
Oh, okay.
So I kind of looked like a terrorist, maybe. I don't know, but I felt like it was like racial profiling, so I was pretty pissed off every time the police stopped me.
Did you give them a good talking to each time?
Not really. I just kind of had like an attitude towards them, and like one time I actually didn't have my I actually didn't have a visa. I was on a tourist visa. Yeah. Because I was like on a dependent visa my whole life, and that had run out. And the cops stopped me, and I didn't have anything. I didn't have my passport with me. Yeah. I was probably like 19 or something, but like of course, I felt like I was entitled. I've been here my whole life.
Yeah.
Why do I need to show you anything, kind of thing.
What ended up happening with that though?
They're trying to like make me admit that I stole the bike that I was riding. I keep telling them my story, and they're like, at one point they're like, "Hey, the things you're saying aren't matching up. Hurry up and confess." I was pretty freaked out at that point. Like,
Did they
they're
eventually
gonna put something on me.
Did they eventually let you go or something, or?
Eventually, like, they had my parents' number, and I was just like, call my parents. They'll tell me that this is their bicycle,
Yeah.
kind of thing. But they didn't want to call. But finally, they did, and they let me go. So
That's so stupid.
it could have been worse, I guess, because I didn't have any visa or passport. But they're probably like, he speaks fluent Japanese. He's probably here all his life, so whatever.
God, every single time I haven't been stopped often. I think that's like one of the reasons I dress so outlandish with like my hair and stuff is because like the cops, like they're like, even if that guy doesn't have a visa, I don't think it's like I don't want to fuck with him, but they're just like, that's obvious profiling if we go after that guy. And but each time they've tried to stop me, I always make it as awkward as possible. Like I remember in Roppongi.
Yeah.
One time they asked me to check my bag for drugs, and like I had like, what is it? I had like condoms and like a camera in there because like I was YouTubing and I was in Tokyo for the weekend from Chiba, and I just gave them. I don't know. I think a lot of Japanese people, they're not homophobes, but they just don't like talking about gay stuff. So I would always just make it as awkward as possible. I'd tell the cops, I'm like, dude, like, you checked my bag, but you didn't check my ass. Like, you gotta be really thorough about that. And like, because it's always the kohai with the new police guy with the senpai, and he showed him the ropes. And like, I remember one time I made a big scene. I'm like, this guy calls himself a cop, but you won't even check my asshole. You know how easily, like, look at how big my ass is. You know how much drugs I can stick up there? And you're not even going to take me back to the police station? What the hell? Call your fucking manager. We don't have managers. We'll call somebody, because I'm not leaving until my asshole's thoroughly checked. And they were like, I do that every time now. Like, Japanese men, they're not homophobic, but they just really don't want to talk about that. And so, like, if you, like, force... I don't know. I'm just... whenever I say that, I always have the mental preparation of, like, okay, this might happen, but at least...
Eventually it might happen.
But at least I had a good laugh, But I'm just saying, guys, in the future, if you ever get stopped by the cops, just immediately start yelling at them and saying that they're being assholes for not checking your asshole. But... Oh yeah, that's a good question though. So you were over here the whole time on a dependent visa.
Mm-hmm.
How, did you eventually switch from that to permanent resident, or did you have to get a work visa, or what?
Yeah, my whole family kind of switched over to permanent resident.
Yeah.
But I wasn't in Japan when they were doing that, so I kind of got left behind, and I lost my visa, so I just applied separately. But the first time I got rejected because... Technically, you have to be living in Japan consistently for, like, a certain amount of time.
Yeah.
Like, I don't know what it was, 16 or 12 years or whatever. And I had gone to the States, so that was gone. So the first time I got rejected, but the second time I threw in more things, like, hey, I'm a good person. I wrote, like, an article that went in the newspaper, saying I'm a good person, contributing to society. So I got luckier. So
wow,
second time I passed.
Well, they were pretty lenient probably for you if your parents had they probably had the documentation that your parents and your whole family had already applied.
Yeah.
So was that a factor when you were like, look, my family already applied. I wasn't here. Like, you guys would have given it to me. I fucked up, but can you just check again? And then they were like, oh, okay, and boom, you got it.
Probably. Like, you don't really know who's reviewing it. So
you didn't have to go in for an interview or anything?
No. Did you have to go in for it?
No, I was surprised. I was prepared to go for one. They never sent me in. But when I went to go pick up the visa, like, there was like a Vietnamese chick and a Russian chick, and they were like, oh, Chotokite, and they had the new Soldan Shih Tzu or something up, or like inspection Sosa Shih Tzu or something, and so it's like, I was like, oh, okay, huh. And I remember picking it up. I'm like, you guys don't want to, like, interview me or anything? They're like, you're good. I'm like, yay, reverse racism, because I feel like more people are racist towards your passport than your race here, I think.
Yeah, there's definitely a passport selective thing.
Because that Russian chick was way more white looking than me, so.
Yeah.
So why, you grew up like Christian the whole time. Why aren't you working at a church now, spreading the gospel to the good people of the Nippon?
Yeah, I'm not too religious. I went to Bible school for a couple years after high school.
Yeah.
But now I'm more like spiritual, but not religious. So.
How do your parents feel about that? Disappointed?
They're pretty like fundamentalist Christians, so yeah, disappointed.
Aw.
Yeah.
Do they
so
feel like
it is a tension in our relationship for sure?
Oh. What about your brothers and sister? Are they still pretty much like, love you, Jesus, cross on the chest?
The brother Tyler, the one below me, he's kind of like me, more non-religious. The youngest brother, he's more religious.
He still goes to church and everything?
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah. And then my sister, of course, is just with her parents, so she goes to church.
She's pretty much like, this is chill.
Yeah. Jesus.
Yeah. I'm getting Jesus Day again. Nice. This comes every week. It's pretty badass. So do you ever think you'll get rid of your American citizenship and just become legally Japanese?
I don't really consider that. Not really. Because I don't really see what the benefits are other than
being able to vote and
being able to vote.
You'd probably be able to get, well, I guess eventually if you wanted to rent, but I feel like people our age and older are probably looking to buy at this point for property versus just renting, right?
Oh yeah, would it make a difference for that?
I think so. I think like having a Japanese passport and like especially if you change your name to Japanese, like kanji or something.
Oh yeah.
Then that would
help.
help.
You did that?
I changed my name, but it's like phonetically kanji. So it's like I have my foreign name, but it's in Japanese. It's registered. I changed my Incon register, and then I had my company at the time write a contract again for me using my Japanese name. So technically, legally registered, it is Japanese, but it's not like Tanaka or something. But eventually, yeah, Does
it look Japanese? Does it look like a Japanese person, or does it look really weird?
No, it's weird, because it's just like, what is it, phonetic kanji that I chose for the name. So, like Samu is like 3 dreams,
Nice.
So, it's obviously not Japanese, but if I became Japanese, I think I'd take a Japanese name. Like, I wouldn't keep it foreign.
Okay.
Like, I'd still have people call me Sam or whatever, but I'd take, like, a legal Japanese name. But, yeah, you don't think so?
No, I might get a Japanese middle name. That'd be cool.
You could do that.
Yeah.
Why
not?
So wait, so you did live in America for 3 years, right? 4 years?
Yeah, 3 or 4 years, off and on.
How was that? Did you feel like you're like, yeah, I'm home, bitches. Yeah, break out the Coca-Cola and Hulk Hogan and Gremlins. I made it.
Well, I went to Bible school in Philadelphia for a couple years.
Okay.
And I felt like an outsider for sure. I was hanging out with all the other international kids.
Okay.
Like the other missionary kids.
Oh.
We'd have like our MK missionary kids group. Yeah. They were the most relatable. Everyone else was like from Pennsylvania.
Fucking Pennsylvania douchebags. Do you ever, do you think you're ever going to live in America again long term?
I don't plan to. It's like I could, but I don't plan to. I did live in New York for a while. I kind of like New York.
New York City or the state?
It was New York City.
Okay,
yeah,
good.
I was in like Brooklyn and like Harlem.
Nice.
Yeah. Interesting places.
Yeah, people from New York, we always say New York. We don't have to say New York City, but everywhere in Japan, they're like, I don't know, half the time it's like, oh, New York. Like in America, like people from New York say it's like, well, anyway, I don't know. It's just people, like, I have to explain to people when you're outside New York City that it's like, yeah, you're from, that if you said you're from New York, people are like, oh, upstate or the city, and I don't know. In Japan, they're just like, oh, city, wow. Anyway, though, but, so it says, do you ever feel like you missed out not being raised in America? Like, you're like, I could have been those Philadelphia assholes, but now I'm a missionary kid.
Yeah, I mean, sometimes I wonder, like, I would be totally different. Huh. Can't even imagine. But not really miss out. I think I had a pretty interesting experience, so this is who I am.
You're not, so, like, of course you're probably not worried about, like, since you had, like, pretty much of a light ride, except for the bicycle stops, like, you're not too worried about, like, any kind of, like, heavy racism here. I haven't experienced much racism overall, but, like, again, like, when I never experienced it hardcore until I tried to rent a place. Like, I was looking for a house, and it took me, like, 3 months to find a house, because I was working at, like, a really good Japanese company. I had, like, enough savings. I was a permanent resident by then. All these fucking assholes, they were just like, nope, nope. And I was like, motherfucker, like, big company, money, savings, stability, you know, like, permanent residency. They're like, でも外国人の方はちょっとお断りなんですけど、申し訳ありません。申し訳ありません, you piece of shit.
That's like the real estate people.
Yeah, that was fucking.
Talk to
I hate the real estate people here. They don't even fight for you. It's like, I'm paying you a month's worth of rent. Fight for me, asshole. You know, you know, make an argument. You know.
Yeah.
I remember one guy, one landlord rejected my my thing because he's like, oh, he's American. Is he fat? And I was like, yeah, I'm fat. And he's like, oh, dude, these stairs are, like, really rattly. You're going to make a lot of noise when you go up the stairs. Sorry, no. And I'm like, wow. Fat discrimination. I love it. But that wasn't for fat people, though. He had sumo guys live there before, and he's like, no fat people anymore. They're just too noisy on my steps. Okay, so here's another question for you, though. So you've met a lot of people that were raised in Japan like you. Are you still in touch with them, and are they still in Japan?
Yeah, I guess in high school there was like foreigner people, half people. We grew up there. Then a lot of them went to college in the U.S.
Yeah,
or abroad. Some of them went to college in Japan. I guess like half of them still live in the U.S. or abroad. A lot of them do live in Japan, in Tokyo.
Do you still keep in touch?
Sometimes. I think we're going to do like a Zoom high school
reunion thing.
Not sure how that's going to go.
Oh, God. You should record that. That would be interesting to see that.
And it was funny, I'm doing Uber Eats deliveries right now.
Yeah.
Like the other day I had like a order for like somewhere really near here. And I went, and the person that opened the door was my high school female classmate.
Oh, my God.
She actually lives in the Philippines now.
Wow. But you saw her for that. But you only started Uber Eats like a month ago.
Yeah.
So you met her then. Right?
Yeah.
You just met her recently.
I mean, that was like a few days ago.
Oh, wow.
Yeah. It was really random.
Was she happy to see you?
Yeah, yeah. She's actually a little bit famous.
Oh, really?
Yeah. Like she lives in the Philippines, and I hadn't seen her in like 10 years. Yeah.
I know who you're talking about. She's in Japan, or she's in the
She's in Japan right now, but...
oh my God.
Yeah.
That's... Yeah, I totally really, forgot really she went to... I know, I won't say anything. But I know who he's talking about. Yeah. If you guys put the puzzle pieces together. You went to high school with her? I thought she went to high school in Hokkaido.
No, she did not go to high school in Hokkaido.
Well, but she's from Hokkaido.
Like, she's from Hokkaido. Yeah.
Wow, that's cool. Did you guys catch up for a couple minutes, or you had to go?
Yeah, just a couple minutes, and then it was like, okay.
Okay, you're like, okay, sorry. I won't tell anybody on the YouTube video that I met you. Oh my God, that's hilarious.
Yeah.
I know. I was watching one of her videos just the other day. I love how this is kind of like the good ending point for the video. Okay, so anyway, I guess last question is though, seeing as you were a kid that was raised here, would you recommend if it's like a foreign couple to raise their kids in Japan?
Yeah.
Any pointers though, or any advice though?
I think for me it was good speaking English at home and then learning Japanese at Japanese school. Homeschool I wouldn't recommend.
Yeah.
Yeah. I guess I would just recommend Japanese elementary school than putting your kids in English school if you're like, yeah, that way they can learn both.
Close the fucking door! God damn it. I will slap the shit out of your French ass. I'll do it. Don't make me shove a baguette up there.
Go and try.
Okay, that's it, motherfucker. Okay. I hate that fucking door. Gotta get some WD-40 or something in there. Okay, so, yeah, anyway, oh shit. Okay, so, hey guys, it's Papa Tico. This is gonna be it for the end of the interview, but I want to thank Andy for coming out here and being part of this. Thank you so much, Andy.
Thank you. It was fun.
It's
Remembering my past.
it's a perspective that you don't get to hear about a lot here on the internet, and I was happy that we could share that with you guys. Again, Andy doesn't really have any social media, so if you guys have any questions or follow-up questions that you'd like him to answer, we could either make another video. If you want to see another video, write down in the comments, and if there's not a lot of comments, just write down your question, okay? And he'll get to it in the comment section. Cool.
All right.
Anyway, see you guys later. Okay. Stay black. Stay black, guys. That's right. You guys say it too.
Stay black.
That's right. Stay black.
Stay black.
Yeah. Yeah, buddy.